going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the NBA Slate Starter podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Ryan as we break down Tuesday's 8-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo. JaVale McGee did not get there. I'm just going to start with that. That's very displeasing to me. 50+% of the field absolutely annihilated on such a play. But you know what? There was some chalk. And again, we talked about this staggered start. We talked about the way that it was going to progress throughout the night. And, you know, there were some massive performances along the way. You had 3 Chicago Bulls that were all sub 3% that you could have fired up in Vooch, in Levine, and in DeRozan, who put up massive games. We've got late night hammer that's just kind of coming to fruition already for Nasir Little and Porzingis. And then in the middle of the day, Pritchard, Nathan Knight, so many guys, so many pieces of value, so many studs going off. It's crazy. Ryan, how's your night going so far?
I don't know. It's too early to talk about the night. I have a lot of Harden, as many people do. I have a lot of Porzingis. The unicorn showed why he was called the unicorn in the first half. And when Porzingis gets going, it is aesthetically so pleasing to watch as a basketball fan. It is really, really fun to watch when that guy gets going, especially when you have him in your lineups. Another thing I think I did a mistake on today was I was contemplating the late swap with Peyton Pritchard. I'm a big Peyton Pritchard guy. I believe he's
Sco Ducks, quack, quack.
He's a very solid player off the bench, I thought. But I just thought me had already locked up some guard spots that I liked. I liked going to McLaughlin instead of Pritchard, getting that savings to bump up some Porzingis ownership, bump up some Harden ownership, and move some money around. I had sprinkled in some Noel. Unfortunately, I didn't hammer in Noel like I initially had planned to. Yep. But it is what it is. It's just one of those days in a late swapping. When you late swap and maybe you just overthink the good spot Peyton Pritchard was in against a G League team. And I missed out. I missed out on the Pritchard performance. And I think that was a mistake. Very rarely do I come away saying, I think I did a mistake late swapping. And I think missing out on being over the field on Pritchard, where you easily could have been, was a mistake, as he pretty much outscored Jaylen Brown heads up, I believe.
Yeah, my highest owned player was McLaughlin. So don't completely kick yourself. I mean, I had 90. We didn't talk about this before. Sometimes we talk quite a bit before the show and such, and we didn't really talk anything about this slate. We just kind of shot the, what. So I had 90+% of McLaughlin, but that was basically a product of him being 3,200 in a starting lineup for a depleted Timberwolves team. I didn't know what the Noel minutes were going to look like. Well, if you put up 28 raw points from Noel, you're probably going to get a lot of minutes. Go Huskies. But yeah, Peyton Pritchard, I was definitely over the field on. I thought once he was starting, that was a tough one to not get to. Even though, I had near 100% Harden, I didn't get to 100% Harden because there were just so many good guard plays. And, I'm still over 80% of Harden. Don't get me wrong. He's like 70% owned tonight, by the way, which is probably the highest number I've ever seen on a 7-game slate for a stud. But, that's what happens. No Kevin Durant. He's proved it on Christmas that that's exactly what he does. So I'm definitely not going to say that you did anything terribly wrong there. Too many good plays on this slate, and it was just a question of getting the right ones. You know what I mean? For sure.
And I was overexposed to the Charlotte game to start off the bat. If you faded that game, I think a lot of my ownership went there on FanDuel, I believe. I had a lot of Nwaba. I had a lot of Josh Christopher. Christopher was a dud, and the whole team was a dud. LaMelo Ball was an excellent play, I thought, going into it. Unfortunately, that game blew out. If you projected a blowout there, which I think you could have with Charlotte going up against Houston, I think it works out for you, as every game after that really, really pays off.
I'm right there with you, man. There's spots that are just hard to get away from. It was like a 235 total or something, which since this foul rule has been enacted, it's just been very, very different. So the totals haven't gotten that high very often, if ever. So just be on the lookout. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm not going to be saying you did. But you should have played Peyton Pritchard. Maybe that's just the only thing I'd say. Again, I'm not going to lecture you about NBA DFS. You don't need anybody to tell you about NBA DFS. I'm the genius boy who, what did I have? Yeah, I had a lot of JaVale McGee. What am I going to do? I just thought he was the easiest jam ever. But you know what? The easiest thing you can do to help out this podcast is hit that like button if you're watching us on YouTube, and leave a 5-star review if you're listening to us over on Apple. That goes a long, long way for us. I said I'm going to do a giveaway before New Year's. It's still going to happen here. So prepare thyselves by getting that 5-star review, and that's how you are eligible for it. I appreciate everybody here listening. Ryan appreciates everybody here listening. So, we just want to be giving back to you guys, and really, really can't say thank you enough for dealing with all of this crazy news that changes the slate literally as soon as we get done recording stuff sometimes. We get breaking news sometimes even at 11:20 Eastern time. The stuff happens during this time. So things are going to change in the morning. We will have you covered with all the content day long. This is your starting point, though. Ryan, you get ready to get going, my dude.
Let's ride.
Let's do it. Sorry, I called you dude. I didn't even think about it. I was all sentimental and stuff. I know you hate it. Steph Curry, 11-5 there for him. He's on the top end. He continues to be on the top end. So I say Christmas was the first time, these last two slates, I suppose, Memphis and Phoenix, where we've gotten 57 plus out of them, 63.5 and 57 his last two out. 11-5 against Denver, a depleted Denver team at home here, but they're getting Wiggins back in there. That's going to be a lot of volume. He's definitely going to be a pay up to get contrarian on an 8-game slate. This new enacted rule where now 6 days, or what is it? 6 days is the NBA's policy. 5 is the CDC. So what extra day now is kind of what it is that we're seeing there. The CDC came out saying 5 days quarantine now for the Omicron. So that's where we're at. And now the NBA has 6 days. We're looking at getting Bradley Beal back. So he's questionable. That could be, slate changing in some regards, because a lot of these guys are priced to not have some of these studs in. Russell Westbrook, he's at 10-2 here. We've got Brandon Ingram, who's going to be doubtful, and we're going to talk a lot of Pelicans here on this slate. I know Jonas Valanciunas is going to be back, but this Cleveland team being good, but I still think there's some value to extract here if Josh Hart's going to be out too. So be on the lookout there. Brandon Ingram 10-1 and Darius Garland 9,900, along with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's starting to put up some games here. 66.75, 46.25, 51 plus. He seems like a better target than he's been in a long time in a Sacramento matchup that should be up and down. Late night hammer. How do you feel about SGA and some of these other spend ups at the guard spot?
Spending for SGA, makes a lot of sense. But I think up top, I believe just looking at how the Steph Curry situation, he's 11-5. You're going to need a lot against Denver. He can get it. There's no denying that. But I think I'd rather spend down a little bit. I think look, Russ against Houston. Russ, there are so many plays in that Christmas Day game where Russ just was has mental lapses over and over again. It's like Russ should get benched in the Lakers thing, and maybe they should start Darren Collison. That's how there were some stretches it was terrible. But look, Russ has huge upside in a very cake matchup against Houston. I don't mind going to Russ, saving those $1,300. Going down a little bit more, I love going to De'Aaron Fox in that Oklahoma City game. I'd rather go to Fox than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think you save a lot of money going to Fox. Another guy who I think might return tomorrow is Anthony Edwards at $7,800. I believe the days are up, and I think he's going to need those 2 negative tests tomorrow to be eligible to play, similar to what happened to Trae Young today. So keep an eye on Anthony Edwards, where I think he might return at $7,800. It's going to be his show. And you might get Anthony Edwards 40 shot attempts tomorrow. And that's lovely at $7,800 against the Knicks team.
That's lovely.
I think going to AE1, I think makes a lot of sense. Just going down the mid-tier, guys who stick out to me at the respective prices. RJ Hampton is not the mid-tier. He's cheap. He's $3,200. If he's going to play, no Cole Anthony could pan out for you. I don't mind going to Josh Christopher again. I know it was an ugly situation today at $3,800. It could work out again. Malik Monk, man, he can shoot the ball. I mean, he fits really well. He deserves to play more minutes with LeBron than Russ does, because it just fits LeBron's game much more than it does Russell Westbrook. And Malik Monk at $4,100 in a Houston matchup, I like going to him. I think that's a solid option to go to. And I think Hassani Gravett is going to start for Orlando. And I think he's going to have to play almost close to 30 minutes. A tough Milwaukee matchup, but minutes are minutes, and a price tag of $3,600 can go a long way.
Yeah, I think I would just rather play RJ Hampton. 32 minutes, 3,200 that we just came off of. What did he put up in that game? He put up 29.75 on DK. I'll just jam RJ Hampton. That seems more fun, doesn't it?
I agree. I'm a big RJ Hampton believer. He was the number one high school recruit, but he chose to go to New Zealand, and he was very poor because he got injured. And I think
Denver drafted him because they draft every young good player ever.
Yeah. And look, Denver could use RJ Hampton at this moment, and it's just they got a great defender in Aaron Gordon, but RJ Hampton has a lot of talent. Hopefully, it'll work out for him. Once Markelle Fultz returns, there's just going to be so much talented guard depth in Orlando. If Markelle Fultz is back to healthy, I don't know when he'll return. Jonathan Isaac hasn't played since the NBA bubble, it feels like, and he's a very good player if he's going to be healthy. But going back to RJ Hampton, I love going to RJ Hampton at that price.
Hey, I mean, Denver's not. I mean, we got to talk Denver for a second. I sat courtside at the Clippers the other night. I was fancy and stuff. And let me tell you, Aaron Gordon did not wear a mask for 1 second of that entire game. And he was sitting out. He sat right next to the coach. They were just true F it mode. Jokic is like, he gets on the bench, puts on his mask right away. He's like pretty, down with it. But like Aaron Gordon's just like on another planet, man. He was just walking around with this. He had this bright, happy face sweatshirt. And then on the back, it had Bones doing a peace sign. It was just like a bony hand doing a peace sign. The dude is just out of control. He's just like quiet, walking around, doing whatever. And then he's just like one of the most elite athletes that you could ever imagine meeting in your life. But whatever, he didn't play. He was just moping around, having a great day without a mask. But anyway, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. I don't hear Denver health and safety protocols, because that'd be an awkward moment for me. That's for sure. I don't want to have to deal with any of that kind of stuff or, any stuff online here. But again, just have a mask on. It's not that big of a deal at a game, especially if you're lucky enough to get tickets from a friend. Thank you so much. That was awfully fun. Yeah, we're going to keep moving on.
You waved to me on TV.
I did the wave. You're just like, we're playing a game of Find Eric on the TV. I'm like, hello. Right behind Jokic on the bench.
Bright red hat, which made things easy. And then for the longest time, I thought your wife left you because you're sitting by yourself. And then she came later along.
We were on wife watch.
I was like, why is he sitting by himself? And then
they went to the club. So what happens? You go to halftime. You go to like the courtside club thing. Again, these are not my tickets. I'm very, very lucky to be able to go sit there. And obviously, my father-in-law was able to set it all up to be able to go check out everything. And we were able to do that. But they got a little sidetracked because there's like free drinks and free food and a bunch of other stuff. And for me, I wasn't going to miss any second half action. I had to get my butt back out there. So. It's just one of those things. We had different priorities. I wanted to be able to watch more basketball. For all the people who say, I haven't watched basketball since Jordan played for the Wizards. It's like, leave me alone. Yeah, YouTube chat. They're very nice. Very congenial. Let's move on to the guard position over on FanDuel. As it stands right now, we've got on the top end Steph Curry 10-4. That's more palatable. He'll be more popular. 9,800 Russell Westbrook. I think that'll be more popular too. Drew Holiday, 9,500. Obviously, that's wrong with Giannis back, so he's going to be like 2% owned. If you want to try to take that shot, sure, but I don't know why against Orlando that would be the spot to do it. Shea, I think I like a little bit more than Ryan tomorrow, 9,200. Starting to see more of that upside. But the guy I want to ask you about, Tyrese Halliburton, he's not really in play for me at 8,900 over on DK, but if you're playing multiple sites, 8,200 Tyrese Halliburton, can you get interested in some of that?
Man, with De'Aaron Fox being back, my honest answer is going to be no. Okay. Just because I just think 8,200 on the slate of this size. Does he have 50-point upside? He does, but I just think I would rather save a little bit of money and go elsewhere. But
okay.
I think in like the large field GPP tournament, yeah, it's fine. I mean, we'll talk about guys who have point guard, shooting guard eligible, but it makes sense. I see what you're thinking about, but I would rather look elsewhere.
Okay.
Guys who are in that same price tag, I think I'd rather take my chances on potentially a Darius Garland at $7,700 where he's saving $500. I think I like doing that. Tyler Hero at $6,200, and no Kyle Lowry there, but Jimmy Butler is back. Tyler Hero has that.
Kyler is a cooler name. Kyler Hero. That'd be Kyler Hero sounds a little bit like Kylo Ren from Star Wars.
Oh wow! Look at you channeling your inner Hollywood.
Just is what it is, really. Shout out Adam Driver. Continue.
Other guys who have point guard eligible on the slate, as I take a look, FanDuel has done a good job with pricing. I really can't. The guys who stick out to me, They've done a really good job with pricing, man. There's no one I really have a ton of interest sub 5K the way things stand right now. Am I missing someone that I should be looking at? Sub 5K? I don't
think
really.
so.
Oh,
It looks,
yeah.
yeah, it gets really bleak really, really quick. What you're seeing on FanDuel, and I think this is kind of an overarching theme for looking at their price, is this mid range seems to kind of be where the bottom is. Like they've really made it hard to get down into, into like sub 4K land. Like usually there was times like Austin Rivers is played 30 minutes against the Clips the other night, but like he's 4,100. That's legitimately as cheap. I mean, Jalen Noel's probably going to be somewhat popular coming off of his game. 4K. You said Anthony Edwards will be back, but like
I think he'll be back.
Has,
it's all pending on the negative test, I believe.
Yeah, negative test pending. And even if not, it's still 4K, and Noel in 24 minutes has upside to pay off a 4K tag. It's just a question of what's the other value look like. And maybe tomorrow's slate isn't nearly as value laden as what we think it is, but I mean 4K, I see nothing underneath 4K there at guard that I would really want to get to other than him. How about you?
Yeah, even him might be a trap. I think Pat Bev might also return because Pat Bev cleared protocol and he was cleared of conditioning. So Joel and Noel, we missed the Jalen Noel night. It's as unfortunate. I'm a big Noel stan, and I would have, I guess, like
can also Jaylen Brown. I tweeted this out. Jaylen Brown and Al Horford should just walk home after losing to this Timberwolves team. I mean, Greg Monroe was a rebound away from a double-double tonight. He had like 6 assists or 4 assists or something stupid too.
Yeah, Greg Monroe got the post-game interview, and
I know he did.
And he said the game doesn't change, just the people do. And I was like, the game changed a lot since you were in Detroit.
Yeah, dude, what are you talking about? You're insane.
And
oh my god,
there was a front
6
court
assists tonight.
There's a front court in Detroit that they would start Josh Smith, Greg Monroe, and Andre Drummond. And it was a wild front court back in the day for the Pistons. Just going down the other list, I mean, they've done a really good job with pricing. I believe Jordan Poole is going to be out for conditioning. So Gary Payton's an option at $5,500. Has shooting guard only eligible. Josh Giddey at 64. Josh Giddey's just consistent. He doesn't have that 50-point upside. He just hovers around high 20s and mid 30s for you. It's just how he's been playing of late. With the guys in Houston might return, so the Houston value might not be as appealing. Guys like Armani Brooks and Josh Christopher might not be as appealing as Kevin Porter Jr. might return, I believe. So do I dare say Talen Horton Tucker, shooting guard eligible, 4,800?
Jesus,
awful, but damn.
I mean, Tyrese Halliburton, I'm going to claim him. I want to claim THT anymore for Iowa State. I don't know if I do or not. Maybe I'll just switch to full-blown Oregon allegiance at this point so that I could just, I'll claim Tyrese Halliburton. Well, I want Monty Morris too. I mean, I still love my guys. George Niang, if he played more minutes in Philly, he just got back, so maybe we can still claim him.
Maybe.
I'm done talking.
I claim my Michigan guys, so I'm good.
Yeah, Trey Burke, your boy, your absolute boy, Tim Hardaway Jr. The Mavs should be your favorite team, and they're not, which is probably something you should look into. Go Detroit, right?
No,
Go Pistons.
The Pistons have Isaiah Livers, but they have John Beilein in the front office, and then
it was so weird that I was actually paying attention to that news the other slate. I was
it was big news.
It actually matters if he's out or not, dude. I just hate content sometimes with this shit. It's absurd. Let's go to the guard spot over here on Yahoo. Steph Curry, $45. Jrue Holiday, $38. Shea, hey, $36. Brandon Ingram doubtful, probably not going to be factoring him in. I will say, guard spot, somebody who should probably bring up, because I think it's gigantic news, is Devontae Graham, another guy who might be back in our lives. My good friend, your good friend, Garrett Temple, coming off of 38.7 fan points. That's fantasy points. 35 minutes that he played the other night. Josh Hart dinged up. If Josh Hart and Brandon Ingram are out, I'm definitely going to roster some Garrett Temple at $12. How about you?
Just going down the Yahoo list.
That's a no.
That was such an obvious with no. Guys like Gary Payton II, RJ Hampton, Malik Monk. These are, I think, if even Gary Harris said 12 could work out. But I think it's going to be a night to spend up at guard. I mean, Seeing Ross Westbrook at 34, he's cheaper than Shea. De'Aaron Fox is cheaper than $30. Oh my God, sign me up for Fox. I mean, how do we not love that De'Aaron Fox price tag? He's cheaper than his backcourt mate Tyrese Halliburton. Yeah, it's the De'Aaron Fox show over there on Yahoo. I mean, it's tough to deviate from that. I mean, you get the roster too. So, yeah, you can roster Garrett Temple. I think I'd be willing to look elsewhere at a guy like Gary Payton II. Only $11 tomorrow over there on Yahoo.
How about RJ Hampton at $11 too? Point guard. I think that makes sense. Gary Payton. Yeah, you talked about them a little bit. Garrett Temple, though. Garrett Temple, I feel like the boss man just associates me with a Garrett Temple call where he played. I was just like, I'm going to roster like 100% Garrett Temple and 100% Josh Hart on late news. And they went for like 50 and 40 respectively. And I think since then, I think that's like one day where boss man's like, oh, okay. And I had like, I played quite a bit in some stuff. Almost won the $4. Got like second in the $4. It was a fun day. It was a very fun day. And since then, I think Garrett Temple, every time it gets brought up, boss man says something like, that's Eric's guy. I'm like, thanks, boss man. I'm number one player in the world, gives me props on a player. So yes, $12 Garrett Temple is where I'm going to play. And you know where I'm going to play him at, Ryan? The best site you possibly can for new Yahoo users. Get one free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum right now. I've said this before. Don't tune me out here. If you're a new user, if you've never played on Yahoo, deposit $10 or more, and you will get one free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. Every sport we have behind the paywall, not just NBA, but NFL too. NHL's coming back tomorrow, 3-gamer. I'm definitely playing that slate while I'm on Live Before Lock on NBA. Don't judge me. You got to get back. There's a $20K up top on DK, Ryan. You got to do it. But you know where it's even better to play? Yahoo, where they have 12%, 11%, 10% management fee. And then they're running these ridiculous contests as well for other sports as well, where you have negative like 900% management fee for like these dollar contests. They're running some insane NFL stuff on Sundays, 200K overlay in that $20 contest. You need to check this out right now. Get that free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. And I believe, and I know this to be true because it happened today, somebody was asking about it, Xmas 100 is still active. So you can still get the 2-for-1 special, XMAS 100. Put that in at checkout. You will get up to a $100 first match deposit bonus along with this free month. So if you want to put $10 in, you'll get $10 back. If you want to put in 100, you'll get 100 back, so on and so forth. Now is the time to go check out Yahoo. So stop guessing, start winning, and join over at Awesemo and Yahoo today. Bang. How about that? That's how the professionals, that's how we do it in the pros, Ryan.
You want to hear a funny story about your guy being Garrett Temple? At least you have a professional athlete known as your guy. So when I first met Alex, so I think it was the summer of 2017, and then it was week 1 NFL, and Deshaun Kaiser was the min on DraftKings, and I played
Kaiser Sose.
Huh?
I just called him Kaiser Sose.
I just locked him in 100% at the min, and Alex was like, "Oh my god!" And I think he rushed in a touchdown, and he threw a touchdown pass to Corey Coleman, and it was against a very tough matchup. But he was the min, and Alex was like, "Oh my god, I would never do that." Little did I know that stacking was a thing in NFL back then, and then fast forward now, it's all you got to do is stack, right?
Hey, I don't know. For those that don't know, I do a Monday review show with Adam Scherer where we break down everything that happens from the week before from the Sunday main slate. We break it down on Monday. Mr. Ryan over there, pure locking Justin Jackson across all 3 sites, DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo. Of course, we don't have the CSVs for FanDuel, so I'm just taking him at his word. But on Yahoo and DK, 100% of Justin Jackson, as well as on DK, I know, 100% of Palmer from the Chargers. So is that where you're wearing a Chargers build today? Is that just ironic? Is that life coming full circle?
It could be. And then 100% Cooper Kupp as well.
Which makes more sense if we're being honest.
No, I mean,
Justin Jackson made sense too. Josh Palmer, you're just a psychopath. Let's talk forward, shall we? But also Kaiser Sose. Those were good days. I remember that slate. I did not have any. You're sharper than me. That's what it comes down to.
It was a one-time thing. He never started a game after that.
I don't think he did, actually. Did they win that game? They didn't win that game.
I don't recall, but Deshaun Kaiser I thought was good, but he was very, very
You know
bad.
Who else is not going to start an NFL game for the rest of his life? His name's Ian Book. So there we go.
Yeah.
He had fun tonight. Shout out Notre Dame. Anybody listening? Giannis Antetokounmpo is 11-9. I'm going to have a ton of Giannis Antetokounmpo so long as the value stays as prevalent as what it looks like it will tomorrow. Obviously, Cole Anthony out, playing a bunch of like these guys from Orlando once again. Looks like it'll be a theme of this show. Okiki's continuing to be out no matter what. I don't think there's any he's able to come back considering he got placed in the protocols on Sunday. Or was that last Sunday? Yeah, no, it was this Sunday. I'm right about that. So just talking about Orlando, that's in that early game. And if we're going to have a lot of Orlando pieces, we're going to want Giannis Antetokounmpo on the other side from Milwaukee. Everybody else on Milwaukee is just priced egregiously, but that's what happens when these studs return. LeBron James, 11-3, probable here. He's also probable to want to try to get traded to Cleveland, if I had to guess. Julius Randle, 10-5. That was a joke, by the way. Julius Randle, 10-5. Brandon Ingram, doubtful. Jimmy Butler, 9,300. Now, that's a tag I can get behind against Washington, I suppose. Again, we're just looking for some raw points up here, and I think he makes some sense. I mean, I can't believe Wendell Carter's 8K, and I would actually think about such things. But, that's the world we live in, Ryan. Talk to me about the top end of forward.
Giannis Antetokounmpo 11-9, and he could put up 100 against this Milwaukee team by halftime. But, look, that game, I don't know how close it's going to be, but Giannis is Giannis. You know what he can do. I'd rather save 600 and go to LeBron James if he's going to play. I believe LeBron is questionable at this very moment, but LeBron's going to be questionable for some time, every game in and get every game out. I don't mind going to LeBron James. He has the highest scoring upside on the slate, as does Giannis. Love Anthony Edwards if he's going to play at that price tag. I like going to him. I prefer Butler to Randall. Saving $1,200 makes a lot of sense to me. Tobias Harris is priced up at 9K. That's going to be very contrarian, very low on play. Does Tobias Harris have 50-point upside in his bag? More likely if Embiid doesn't play, but it's he's going to be like sub 1% at that price tag. As is Chris Middleton at 8,200. A lot of these guys have tournament winning upside. They're going to be very, very low owned. I believe Wendell Carter Jr. is all set to go. 8K. Man, that's expensive, man. And DraftKings has been all about pricing these guys up this year. So I think I'm willing to spend down a little bit. I think Chris Boucher stands out to me at 6,200, power forward center eligible. I like going to Boucher. Going down the list in Golden State, we have health and safety protocols now in the front court. I believe Draymond Green has entered protocols over there. Juan Toscano-Anderson might play quite a bit of minutes. Might open up minutes for Nemanja Bjelica as well. So keep an eye on that situation there. It's a very fluid situation in Golden State in a matchup versus Denver. Otto Porter Jr. seems like an excellent value option at $4,900, so it makes a lot of sense to go there. Golden State front court will have some value to target, a lot safer value, I think, than the Houston front court if those guys are going to all return over there, but makes a lot of sense to go to the Golden State front court. Otto Porter definitely leads the way, as the ownership will as well.
I'm just thinking that Juan Toscano-Anderson is good to go. I don't see him in protocols. I think it's Damian Lee that's continuing to be there.
Yeah, I think Juan Toscano-Anderson, you can definitely take some shots with him.
Yeah, so we're going to Juan Toscano-Anderson. Yes, with Draymond Green out. There's just making sure that I heard that right. Wanted to double check for the people out there because you never know. You'll get that comment where it's like, oh, isn't he in protocols? And it's like, I don't know what to say because he might be tomorrow morning and he also might not be now. And you just never know. So just kind of keep your eyes open, everybody. It's fun stuff. Houston's depleted here, but it sounds like they're going to be getting fully healthy back here again. Thank God. So we don't have to roster this Josh Christopher fellow. He's sub 4K. I don't want to. I won't. Watch, he's totally going to put up 40 tomorrow with everybody back. That's how NBA DFS works. Head over to FanDuel. Giannis 11-3 over there. That's too cheap. LeBron James 10-9, probably too cheap for him against Houston as well. Brandon Ingram, doubtful. Not going to play. Jimmy Butler 8,500. That's a really nice tag to be getting on him. If you want to take your Chris Middleton shots, 8,100. You can put up 50 randomly. Raw points matter. Suppose that might be it. Tobias Harris, though, 7,200. That is a really, really nice number. And hey, shout out Big Blue, Franz Wagner, coming off of a dud. Like, he's an absolute dud. But we're going to play him at 6,900, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, if Wagner's going to get that usage, how can we not go to that price at that price tag at $6,900? I mean, Franz Wagner's been getting that usage, so I have no issues going to Franz. I mean, other guys who have small forward and power forward eligible over there on FanDuel, guys that stick out. I mean, you mentioned Franz. I mean, spending up for You're going to be a lot easier to spend it for Giannis and LeBron over here, and probably one of them might be a necessity because you can roster up to 4 of these guys on FanDuel. Tobias Harris, wow, only $7,200. I like that quite a bit for him. I think it makes a lot of sense to go there. You talked about other guys. I mean, Giannis at 11-3. I like that. I know it's a little bit risky. It could work out. Interesting to see what happens in Golden State. Andrew Wiggins also might need to test double negative, but the way it seemed like with Jordan Poole, he might not play just because of conditioning issues. Just keep an eye on that situation. Golden State's going to be very interesting to see how that develops overnight. Juan Toscano Anderson's priced up here at $4,500. That's a little too expensive for Juan Toscano Anderson. I like him when he's in the threes, and at $4,500, I'm going to need a lot of convincing to go there. Other guys at their price tag, RJ Barrett has upside at $5,500 just because of the minutes he's going to play in for Thibodeau. So I don't mind that whatsoever. I know it's going to be low owned, but $5,500. I'd rather spend $5,500 for RJ Barrett than $4,500 for Juan Toscano Anderson. Jimmy Butler stands out quite a bit.
Do we have the Kevin Love talk now? Do we have this?
I think guys are going to set to return in Cleveland, like guys like Isaac Okoro might return,
Okay.
Lauri Markkanen might return. But keep in mind, even if these guys clear protocols, there's been a situation with conditioning quite a bit. A lot of guys need another game after they've cleared protocols to come back. We've seen it time and time again so far. We've also seen it in the NFL. We've seen it in the NBA. COVID, if these guys are symptomatic, it is a respiratory thing. So maybe they are facing some aftermath. And even some guys who are asymptomatic have needs. Coaches be like, they just need back conditioning. So,
okay. Well, yeah, I'm just kind of seeing what I see with this stuff where, if you have the opportunity to play Kevin Love and he's starting, I don't know what those minutes look like because he only had to play 18. Cleveland absolutely blew the doors off of Houston. Wasn't it Houston that they played the other night? No, Toronto. The like 8-person, technically like 7-person Toronto team that still didn't get there. It was so bad. Cleveland just walloped them. They've had some really lopsided games this year. They are freaking good. Again, LeBron James might just sentimentally go back and retire in Cleveland because he's such a selfless individual like that. He's done a lot of good, I'm not going to lie. But Garrett Temple, 3,600. Shout out my boy on FanDuel. Push the chips to the middle, 3,600 Garrett Temple. I am all in on that number. In the event that you have no Josh Hart and no Brandon Ingram, I am just going to lock it. Just absolute no way around it. I will regret saying that soon. Here we go to the forward spot on Yahoo. Giannis Antetokounmpo, $56 there. Jimmy Butler, $44. Julius Randle, $37. We haven't said his name, and he gets this Minnesota matchup, which is very tasty. Only been playing like 34 minutes here or whatever. But as long as this game stays competitive here, he's the stud that you would probably want. From the next side, that's really going without saying. Chris Middleton, 28. That doesn't really look appealing. What stands out to you over here on Yahoo?
Yeah, over there on our sponsor Yahoo, guys who stick out at their price tag. Guys, as I pull this up, sorry.
How dare you?
Technical difficulties on my end. I mean,
it's okay. I'm literally just like turning back over to see like the Trailblazers are already like packing it in. Greg Brown started tonight, which I just don't have words for. That's a thing that happened in the year 2021.
Who started?
Wasn't it Greg Brown? I had to like look up who that was.
Who's Greg Brown? I've never heard of a Greg Brown.
Yeah, he's playing basketball right now. No, he did not start. It was Tony Snell that started. But yes, Greg Brown III just checked into the basketball. Well, no, he played a little bit. He played 3 minutes in the first half, but he's from Texas. From Texas.
You scared me. I was like, oh my God, did I mess something up?
No. It's just my favorite part of watching basketball now. I mean, I'm just looking at ESPN spreadsheets while I'm going back and forth to see, because it's fun to be able to comment and tilt a little bit if I can. I think the people enjoy me tilting. That seems to be a recurring theme, but I've never heard of a Greg Brown, but I'll be your Greg. You know that. Well, I'll be your Doug, but it's from The Hangover. Continue.
Yeah, I thought it was Doug. But going on over there on Yahoo, I mean, forward's obviously a spot where a lot of people spend down, especially small forward on FanDuel. On Yahoo. Guys who stick out their price tag. I mean, we've touched on Giannis and LeBron. LeBron's priced up at $50. Pascal Siakam might be set to return in Toronto. I believe so. So keep an eye on that situation. Toronto's always a sketchy situation just because I don't know what their country has different protocols, as is on top of the NBA protocol. So Siakam's an interesting play at $33 if you were to go. I like Anthony Edwards a lot at 35. Jimmy Butler is expensive at 44, but has the upside to be the highest scoring small forward over there. Tobias Harris is strong play at $28 as well. Going down a little bit. If you want to save a little bit, Otto Porter at 15. I'm all about that price tag. Otto Porter at 15. I think if you want to spend down a little bit, Juan Toscano-Anderson $10. I have no issues going to that. Jared Vanderbilt might return, but he's also $20, so it might be expensive. So a lot of moving parts in Minnesota. Don't completely buy into all the great plays that happened with Minnesota today because they all might disappear tomorrow. So it might be a fun recency bias ownership game to take advantage of, which has been very nil this season.
Anthony Edwards. Just watch the news. Pay attention. Guys are starting to get ruled in here faster. 6 days is a lot different than 10. You know the drill. Just be watching live before lock. That's really what it comes down to. We'll have you covered on anything that happens before lock. Plus, we have half an hour after. I'm always on for 90 minutes with Greg Ehrenberg pretty much every single Tuesday through Friday. So check it out. We will cover it all. Let's go to center position where, hey, it seems like they're just this tandem. I tell you what, this Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid combination that exists every flipping slate, it's getting a little ridiculous, but hey, here it is, 12-4 for Jokic. He doesn't have anybody else around him. Joel Embiid has other guys like Tobias Harris and, Maxey. Again, I don't know. Is Maxey back? I really don't even care. I mean, we know the upside that Joel Embiid, yes, Maxey's back, but Joel Embiid at 12-1, that's an overpay to be contrarian. He will not be nearly as popular as what Giannis or Jokic will be. Doesn't have nearly as or elite fantasy rate, but man, there's no question that the ceiling's there. Would you still take some shots at 12-1 on Embiid?
Yeah, I think so, just because he has the upside of being the highest scoring player on the slate. I usually do find a way to sprinkle in some studs, especially a guy like Embiid. I mean, Embiid's a stud. And I will be taking some shots there. I know it's expensive. I know it takes up a lot of money, and there might not be enough value to jam him in, but that's when it becomes exciting, right? When you get that ceiling game when no one else has him. A guy like Embiid, the matchup versus Toronto, that shouldn't really worry anyone with Embiid. So I have no issues going to him. But other guys, I mean, Jokic at that price tag, and it's expensive. I mean, 12-4. You're going to have to pick one of him, right? I think people are going to spend down quite a bit. I think people will go to guys like Christian Wood at 8,500. People will go back to Hernan Gomez after a disappointing performance at $5,300.
JVal is probable. So
JVal is probable. Okay.
JVal's probable. Yeah, I was going to say, I said that a little bit earlier. I have a ton of interest in Jonas Valanciunas here.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
There's going to be no Ingram, no Hart. That's another guy. Him and Garrett Temple, not all in. I would not do that. I'm not you with the Chargers. I still can't believe you have that hat on coming off of today. Continue.
I think Nathan Knight will be one of the highest owned players on the slate at $3,200. And it's going to be tough to be moving away from that for that upside he has. Keep in mind, he might not start if Vanderbilt returns and if they want to move things around a little bit, but I think Nathan Knight has earned another start after tonight's performance, and he's going to be very popular, and it makes a lot of sense to go there at $3,200. And I think I'll be there trying to get above the field. I don't know what his ownership is going to be, but it's going to be very high.
Greg Monroe didn't get added to the pool on DK. What are you doing? Yeah, you know what? He got added to FanDuel, though, and he's 5,500.
Good. I think FanDuel did it right.
Oh, it would be so fun to roster Greg Monroe tomorrow at 35% owned at 4K and watch him put up 5. That would be so much fun. It wouldn't be much fun.
I think no, it's a point where you
hang on. If I give you 150 lineups right now, would you play one share of Greg Monroe at 5,500? Please tell me yes.
One share of Greg Monroe at 5,500. Look, they played together. Nathan Knight and Greg Monroe.
No, they did.
They shared the court together, and they might against the Knicks. So, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be an ownership decision, and the opportunity cost at center on FanDuel. I mean, there's a cost.
He's $10 over on our sponsor Yahoo. This is a Greg Monroe fan account now. Eric Lindquist on Twitter. Go follow Rinpack too at Rinpack. You should be already. Center position, yeah, we've got other options that you can kind of smatter around, but I think you hit the broad strokes. We'll see what it looks like. I mean, are we done trying to make Şengün a thing? Can we just not have him pop in Awesemo's projections ever again? I'm over him. Please.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Omer Yurt 7 instead.
Yes.
Same price tag, but granted, Şengün has power forward eligibility. Omer Yurt 7 definitely stands out to me. Him and Chris Boucher. Chris Boucher is going to be even more popular because he has power forward eligibility. Valanciunas, 7,700. I think we can definitely ride with him. Makes a lot of sense. Richaun Holmes has upside at 6K in a matchup versus Oklahoma City. I like going there. It's going to be tough to spend up over there on for 11-6 and 10-7. These guys might be a little bit lower owned, but I love going to Jokic and Embiid at those price tags. FanDuel, there's not much of a need to go any lower than Yurt 7, in my opinion. That's just how I feel. But unless if you have someone that you like cheaper than Yurt 7.
No, not really. I mean, I always would take a shot with Damian Jones after playing 27 minutes, but Richaun Holmes, his minutes have to get ramped up here. He didn't play for like 7 or 6 games or whatever it was in a row. And so now we're looking at him coming back. We don't probably have to think about it. But again, you've always been the guy to talk about taking shots on cheap centers and smaller slates. That might be a late slate play for me. Looking at Damian Jones there at 3,300. Sounds like a 2-gamer. Fun time to me. Could get 7 minutes, could get 30. That would be fun. But Richaun Holmes, I got to expect continuing to go forward here and play more minutes. But new coaching staff, you just never know. FanDuel, Nikola Jokic 11-6, Joel Embiid 10-7, Julius Randle 8,700. Again, we have that same Jokic Joel Embiid conundrum, but where you can only play one over there, it's a little bit more pronounced. I still don't know how you don't play Jokic there, but my guy tomorrow will be Jonas Valanciunas at 7,700. I think I'm just going to firmly push the chips in the middle. Welcome to the New Orleans Pelicans. This is like 2020 all over again for multiple reasons, but this is actually the good reason I'm rostering Pelicans.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense to go there, and I think you nailed it. And Valanciunas should be pretty awesome option to go to. I have no issues going to him whatsoever.
See, that was fast. We're just done with FanDuel. Like, are we going to spend $5,500 for Greg Monroe tomorrow? Please tell me yes. Center only. You only get one. You play Greg Monroe.
God, no.
It's so bad. I can't even keep a straight face with it anymore. Yahoo, again, $10. I might roster a share just because I would just kill to have him break a slate and win a GPP with Greg Monroe before the end of 2021. Nikola Jokic, $56. Joel Embiid, $50. J-Val there, $33. We're looking pretty nifty there. But then it seems like you're just going to be paying up for those two. And then there's a plethora of different options we could go to. Chris Boucher, once again, if you don't get some of those guys back, maybe Chris Boucher continues to start there for Toronto. We'll see what that news ends up coming out as. But 16 minutes, he ended up getting seated down pretty early because they got routed by 45 by Cleveland. Good times, really good times. Same thing, DJ Wilson. I don't expect, what did he have? 4 steals and a block there in his 34 minutes. But, somebody's got to be playing minutes. But Omer Yurt 7, $12. By far, and I mean by far, my favorite cheap center outside of Nathan Nate to take a shot on. How about you?
Yeah, I think Omer Yurt 7 makes a lot of sense. I mean, he is $12 and Nathan Knight is $10. I think those guys are going to be taking a lot of ownership up as well, but that's going to give us the ability to pay up for potentially an Embiid or Jokic. So yep. I think that makes a lot of sense. Valanciunas, $33. I think we've been all about him. And other guys, Yurt 7 and Nathan Knight gives you the ability to get up for guys like Embiid and Jokic. Christian Wood, $32 is not that bad, actually. I think in a Lakers matchup, he did perform well against them early in the season, and that was when Anthony Davis was around. He should eat against this pretty bad Lakers defense. Lakers, they're not a bad team all the way yet. They're, I believe, 6th or 7th in the West. So the West is
garbage this year, though. Like the bottom teams.
But
I know. Yeah, I know.
They're not the worst in the
No.
West yet.
Anthony Davis, if he were healthy, but I mean, that is always a gigantic if.
Yeah, I get a lot of people coming over and asking me, what's wrong with Anthony Davis? Is he committed to the Lakers? I mean, a lot of public perception thinks he's just disinterested of late. So, and Charles Barkley calls him street clothes, and he's been in that. Right? He's going to be in that for some time as well. But yeah, Yard 7 makes a lot of sense. Nathan Knight yet again. Chris Boucher, $16 makes a lot of sense as well.
I think so as well. I think that covers the center position. Ryan, that was lovely. We still kept it under 50. It's an 8-gamer on a Tuesday. Generally, Tuesdays have smaller slates than this. Usually it's like 4 or 5 games, but also a lot of moving parts, a lot of news lately. So we've been going longer as it is. Again, Monday, that was a quickie. This is Tuesday. Glad to get back to our normal pace here, but still keeping a nice tight 45 for the most part. Ryan, any final words for the people as we get out of here for Tuesday's slate?
No, I think good luck. Lots and lots of news. Be ready to pivot throughout the night yet again, and good luck.
And we got James Harden to 50 points here with 8 minutes left in the third quarter. Happy to have 80+% of that hooligan. Things are good. Even I'm 10% over the field. Way to go, Eric. You're super sharp. Ryan, thank you so much per usual. Always enjoy the analysis from you. Always enjoy talking some hoops. He's Rinpack. He's one of the top 10 players in the world. I'm Eric. I am for sure going to win the $4 tonight. No, I'm not. I'm probably not. We'll see you guys later.